How you doing? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Today's topic is about quitting drinking alcohol for 30 days. It's like sort of winning a trophy, right? It's like reaching that first milestone. It's something special in and of itself. I'm 4.5 years into this and I've made so many different changes in my life, but that first 30 days, getting to the end of that first month, just gave me so much, relatively speaking, right? You know, if you take it, that first 30 days and compare it to any other 30 days of this whole journey, it's incomparable. And the reason is because there's just so much fear and anxiety and insecurity, being unsure about yourself, about what you're doing, about the journey, whether you're doing the right thing, whether you're going to be able to do this, whether you're going to be able to socialize, whether there's so many different areas of your life that you're going to be questioning before you even step across that line. And taking that first step is the most important one that you'll ever do, right? There's no doubt about that. Actually, as I say, journey of 1,000 miles and all that. But once you get over that line and you start building up a bit of momentum for yourself, and once you get to the stage where you've completed your first month, you'll have so much experience behind you. You'll have so much knowledge that will just knock away a lot of the doubts and the insecurities and the fears. 30 days is not really enough time to get rid of the habit altogether. It's never going to be enough time to do that, right? That takes a lot more time. You're talking about, this is a behavioral thing, right? So you're talking about many different behaviors that go into making up the habit, right? The habit is not just the drinking. The habit is the thinking. It's the rituals. It's the thinking about, the thinking about drinking. The thinking about how you're going to get a drink. The thinking about what you're going to do when you do get a drink. How you're going to react. How you do react the next day. When you've got a hangover, and how that affects your thinking and how it affects your mind and all that kind of stuff. But there's so many other different areas that you wouldn't even realize that alcohol does affect. It essentially affects every single different part of your life. Every single different part of any behavior that you've got is going to be affected by alcohol to one degree or another, right? So what I'm saying is that 30 days is not enough time to get rid of that, right? To fix everything that needs to be fixed, or to change everything that needs to be changed. They say maybe 60 days, maybe 90 days is enough time, 6 months. I think you're talking, for everything to change and for you to get really away from alcohol and to really release yourself into your new life, it's going to be different for everyone. But like I say, it's not going to happen within that first 30 days. Maybe 60 days, 90 days. Once you get to that mark, there's a lot of different stuff that you've done within that time. Like a lot of the drinking thinking and a lot of the drinking behavior revolves around your day-to-day life, right? So if you drink every day, or you drink almost every day, when you get home at the end of the day, or when you would normally drink, those circumstances and those triggers are still going to be firing off every single day. So by the time you get to 30 days, you'll have already got experience of 30 days without or with that trigger firing off, and you dealing with the trigger, right? You choosing something alternative. And in the first few days, it might not be pretty at all. It might be fairly ugly what you're doing, but you've done it, and you've sort of isolated some things that work, and you've kicked out some things that don't work, and this experience builds up, to 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, all that kind of stuff, you'll have gone through this an iteration of the same sort of similar behaviors over and over again. So by the time you get to that 6 months mark, by the time you get to a 30-day mark, you've gone through so much. You've gone through 4 full weeks, you've gone through 4 weekends, so you've gone through all your work days where you would normally work, and then whatever your method was of coming home and using alcohol at the end of the day, and however you used alcohol at the weekends, you've gone through 4 iterations of that, right? So you've got a lot of experience about what it's like not to drink anymore, and that's one of the problems in the beginning, is you don't realize that, you don't understand what it's like not to drink. I didn't know. I mean, I drank for over 35 years, and it's a gradual process. You don't start out drinking heavily. You start very light, and then you gradually get heavier and heavier and heavier as you go through life. As all the accoutrements of the drug kick in, and you start to you become tolerant to the alcohol, you become tolerant to the life, you become tolerant to the thinking, behind alcohol, so by the end of the 35 years that I was drinking, I just didn't know what it was like to live a life without alcohol, pure and simple. And that's where all the fears come, because alcohol is a part of so many different areas of your life. You understand this on a very basic level, that it's not a question of just getting rid of the alcohol. That it's you think about all the areas where you do drink, and you know that those areas are going to be affected. You know that it's going to be difficult for you to relax in the beginning. You know that it's going to be difficult for you to socialise, because you've got to make these changes. You've got to switch across and do something different. But once you get to that 30-day mark, it's a real milestone, because you've done this over and over and over again, and you understand what it's like. And you might still have fear. I mean, I'm not saying all the fears are going to be gone, all the anxieties are going to be gone, but you'll have got a handle on some of the most basic ones, and you'll sort of a lot of the fears that you did have, you'll understand that they're not real, that they're not based in reality, that in reality that you can go without alcohol, and then once you get to the 30 days, or the 60 days and the 90 days, and then you get to the 6 months and a year. I mean, a year is a great milestone to get to. Well, sorry, 6 months. I mean, I thought 6 months was a great one to get to, just because, it's a mark on a calendar. Basically, at the end of the day, it's nothing more than that. But it's a big chunk of time, and I think by that stage, by 6 months down the road, there's just so much about this journey that you've experienced, and there's so much distance between yourself and the alcohol now, that you've truly got an understanding of what it's like not to be a drinker anymore, and that's a good feeling. And you might not feel this in your head totally. You might still think about yourself as being a drinker. Deep down you might still think that there's still a tie between yourself and the alcohol. And as I said, this is all down to how you view. If you're still looking back on alcohol, and you're still thinking about alcohol as being a part of your life, or that it had pleasure for you, right? Then it's going to tie you a lot more. It's going to take you a lot more time to get over this. Whereas if you're focused on the future, it's what you focus on is what you get in life. And if you're focusing on the alcohol, that's what you're going to get. If you focus on your future, that's what you're going to get. It's as simple as that. And other things, you're going to prove people that you can do this. You're going to prove to yourself, more importantly, that you can do this. And that's one of the the most important things is to give yourself that gap, that time frame of 30 days to do this. I mean, once you get to that 30 days, you're starting to overcome some of the most embedded mindsets that kept you in the drinking behaviour. You won't have got rid of them all. You might not have got rid of any of them totally, but you'll have started to make inroads into taking them apart. So I just wanted to say that for people who they don't count days, you know. I don't think it's, once you get past a certain time, I mean, I know it's 4.5 years since I've stopped drinking, right? And I'm sort of, it's a nice thing to think about, you know. 4.5 years has gone by, but it's not something that I do on a regular basis now, because I'm never going to go back on it. So it's an irrelevant figure for me now, you know. I like to think about it along the lines of, it's 4.5 years since I started on this new part of my life, you know. It's the same thing as I'd say, you know, it's 25 years since my son came along and changed my life, you know, and that's something that is well worthwhile celebrating. Do you know what I mean? So from that perspective, I like the day counting from that perspective. If you're counting the days and saying, well, it's 4.5 years since I've had a drink, you know, then, you know, it's one of those things that's still going to attach you to the alcohol and attach you to that thinking, and you want to get rid of that as much as possible. This is, you know, you get rid of the drinking thinking, get rid of the thinking about the alcohol, the alcohol behavior, get rid of the lifestyle thinking, the thinking that it's a normal part of anyone's. It should be a normal part of anyone's life, you know, and focus away from it. Focus on your future. Focus on the things that are going to bring you forwards in life. Things that are going to give you the things to give you the feelings and the emotions that you want, and you know, what do you really want out of life? That's what you should focus on. I think your reason why is one of the most important things in life, you know. Why are you doing this? Once you can get that into your head, you know, you'll never look back, you know, and you'll get to 4.5 years and go, it's 4.5 years since I made this decision to move forwards in my life, you know. So, and you can say that about 30 days. It's 30 days since I made this decision, and how much better do I feel now? And you can assess it and look at yourself and see the difference. You know, 30 days is enough time to see differences in your life. So look, I'm going to leave it there. If you have any questions at all, leave them down below. We've got a quit alcohol pack over on the website if you're interested in that. There's a lot of different video courses, books, a couple of different bits and pieces in there to help you to extract yourself from this drinking lifestyle and move yourself forward. So if you want to get that, come on over to the website and just leave your name and email address in the box there that's provided. And until next time, stay safe, keep the alcohol out of your mouth, onwards and upwards. Good luck, bye now.